how's it going, everyone? Today I have another quick fix video. This one was a very unplanned video, unfortunately. So if you're watching this video, your coolant tee might have failed, and I'll let you know that this is one of the most common failure points on these new generation Saab 9.3s, is this little coolant tee that sits right here. Now there are a few remedies for this. I'm going to be using none of them, to be completely honest, because it's actually Wednesday night currently, and I'm taking the car to California on a 400-mile one-way road trip on Friday, so I don't have time to order these remedies and install them on the car. So we're just going to be replacing it with another OEM one that my good buddy Saving Saabs, make sure to follow him on Instagram, he's coming up clutch and he's going to be bringing me a new one of these. But a couple of the remedies for this kit. Corona used to sell an aluminum version of this. This is obviously just plastic, which is why it breaks, it goes bad over time. I think it's the DO88 radiator hose kit actually gets rid of this whole connector, and it just kind of has one huge hose for this entire assembly, which again kind of prevents it from going bad. But I've seen these go bad very often on these cars, and it looks like mine has finally bit the dust. So when I left for work this morning, there was a nice little puddle of, it was really dark. It didn't necessarily look like coolant. I thought it might have been ATF, which was even more concerning. I did also happen to notice that my coolant level was just ever so slightly lower than when I topped it off to when I put the new tank in about a month ago. So I figured, okay, maybe it's a coolant issue. So I started looking around, and then I saw that down in here, you can see there's some coolant sitting on the alternator directly below it. And then if you look down in there by where the belt is, there's also some fluid all kind of dried up in there. So I think that this thing was about to bust, and I'm glad that this happened when it did, because if it blew out on me in the middle of the California or Arizona desert, I would have been SOL. So today that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be replacing this. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. I'm going to do it the lazy way, which means I'm not going to drain the entire cooling system. If you want to drain the entire cooling system, there is a drain plug for the radiator on the passenger side here. It sticks out of the side of the radiator. You just have to turn it like 180 degrees, I think, and it'll start slowly draining the coolant. Or we can just do it this way, which is take the cap off and then come over here and just remove our 3 hose clamps right here. We can pull the old tee out. I don't think any of you will care about this, but I want to put it in the video only because I mentioned that the fluid initially kind of looked like ATF because it was red. But I came under here just kind of looking to make sure nothing else was bad, you know, before I go on my trip. And you can see I have like some old oil or possibly a new oil leak, which I've just started to look at from the back of the motor possibly. But this coolant comes off the bottom of the alternator right there. It kind of drips down over there onto the oil pan, and when it gets over here, right before it drips, it meets oil. So I think that's why it kind of looked oily, but also still orangish red. So I am about 99.99% confident that this is my only problem though, so that makes me feel good. So we just want to take these 3 hose clamps off. This is the one I'm going to be careful with because I think this little nipple here probably broke off. Yep, there it is. So that nipple just completely broke off inside of there, so I'm gonna have to get a flathead and kind of like dig that out. You can see I'm trying to just kind of push it out. It's disintegrating as I touch it, so I'm gonna have to be real careful with this. You can see on the bottom corner of the screen here, kind of just disintegrated as soon as I touched it, but I got just about all of it out. While I was waiting for Lucas to show up with the new T-connector, which we got right here, I spent about 30 minutes cleaning up all the coolant that spilled on the floor, as well as all the coolant that got on the belt and everything over here, because coolant is slippery. Slippery stuff on a serpentine belt isn't really ideal. So I figured I'd clean that up the best I could. I kind of also have this hose which drained most of the coolant. I think I plugged that with the old one. So I do have some paper towels to hopefully not ruin all my hard work of cleaning. But let's go ahead and get this new one on, hopefully, without spilling any more coolant. Now, thankfully, he did have a spare as well. He actually had two. This one looked like it was basically brand new. Obviously, it's not brand new. This one has some old coolant on it and stuff, so I'm gonna put that one in my glove box just to have a spare anyways. I probably should have already had a spare. Alright, so there's it all reinstalled again, guys. This is thankfully a very simple job. So you've got genuine Saab as an aluminum replacement for this. That is obviously an upgrade over the standard. Because this was such a last minute emergency though, I didn't go with that. I just was thankfully able to source a replacement locally from a friend. So again, huge shout out to Lucas Saving Saabs on Instagram. It's literally what he does, and he saved my Saab today in a huge pinch. But there you have it, everyone. I now need to top the coolant off and then run the car with the cap off till it gets up to temperature, so that way I can top off the coolant as necessary. And that's pretty much it. Once again, very simple fix. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.